Welcome back to our class. Today, we're going to be talking about prelim paper for life science 2025. Yeah, anyway, this is just a sample paper whereby this paper was being written by people from Eastern Cape. So we are just going to use it as a guide for other provinces which have not written the paper. Let's go without wasting time as we will be guiding different things about the different questions they have set here. They're saying that a key function of scrotum. What is the function of the scrotum? Remember, the scrotum is the part of the testis which is protecting those testes. The meat you see outside, the wrinkled structure of the testis is what called the scrotum. So this scrotum, the function is basically, as I've said, that is for that question. Then we go to the number 2, 1.1.2, the eye condition where the cornea or the lens is not perfectly rounded, causing the light not to properly focused onto the retina. Sometimes this question comes as uneven distribution of the cornea. You see, uneven distribution of the cornea. So it's the same thing, they're just bringing it in a different version. So if they bring it, make sure that you know what you're supposed to answer. So this answer is astigmatism. So you get 2 marks there. Then we go to the next part. You're saying that the where the cornea or the lens, the function is basically, as I've said, that is basically very important for protection. So how does it protect? First of all, it can protect through the mechanical, the physical protection. Also can also be helpful in protecting the testes against too much temperatures. Like if it is too cold, it contracts, then pushes the testis up, and then it's too hot, so it's being protected. Now the testis from being cold. So, and then when it's too hot, then it releases them so that the testis can have proper temperatures for the sperms to be produced. So basically the function is to protect these testes from different things. In this case, if you look at these answers, you see that production of hormones, no. Store sperms, no. Temperature, transportation of spermatozoa, no. The function is this, regulates the temperature of the testis, regulates the temperature of the testis. So it's like protection. So that's 2 marks for that question. Then we go to the number 2, 1.1.2, the eye condition where the cornea or the lens is not perfectly rounded, causing the light not to properly focused onto the retina. Sometimes this question comes as uneven distribution of the cornea. You see, uneven distribution of the cornea. So it's the same thing, they're just bringing it in a different version. So if they bring it, make sure that you know what you're supposed to answer. So this answer is astigmatism. So you get 2 marks there. Then we go to the next part. You're saying that the part of the brain that function as the control center for hunger, thirsty, sleep, body temperature, regulation is, remember we said that the body temperature, thirsty, hunger, sleep, motions, all is being controlled by one part of the brain called the hypothalamus. Here there is not too much discussion about it, but if you studied about the brain, then you have to be knowing the function of the hypothalamus. We go to the next question, 1.1.4. Which of the Caryoptiles displayed below demonstrates the negative geotropism after 28 hours. Remember, when you say geotropism is the response to gravity, so sometimes we call it geotropism, sometimes we call it gravitropism. So when a shoot or a root bends towards the source of the stimulus, for example, the gravity or light or water or pressure or whatever it is bending to, we call it positive. You understand? So it becomes positive. So since it is bending towards the gravity, it becomes positive geotropism. So in science, we can call it positively geotropic. If we rephrase it to bring the proper meaning, it is positively geotropic. If it bends away, meaning that it's not growing towards the Earth's surface, because the gravity is pulling objects towards the Earth's surface, so it becomes positively geotropic. But if it is bending away from the Earth's surface, therefore it becomes negatively geotropic. So if the shoot bends towards the source of light, it becomes positively phototropic. But if it bends away from light, it becomes negatively phototropic. So that's the meaning of that statement. So they're saying that which of the following is negatively? They're saying negatively geotropic after 48 hours. So this is light. We can't talk about geotropism here. We can't talk about geotropism. Here we have to look at the gravity, because we say that geotropism is about gravity. So if it is bending towards, you see the arrow saying towards, yes, then this is positive. Positively geotropic, while this one is bending away because gravity is down, so it is negatively geotropic. So it means that the most correct answer here becomes D. Yes, becomes what? Becomes D. Yeah. We go to the next question, 1.1.5. They're saying that the following is a list of target effectors. Effectors, remember, is an organ which brings about the effect of for the stimulus. So we have the pancreas, we have the muscles, we have the testes, we have the liver. Which of the structures listed above are directly targeted by the human growth hormone to stimulate growth and metabolism? Metabolism is being, okay, they're saying growth. So when we talk about growth, where do we expect it and where do we expect the metabolism? So, if you look at, we expect this and we expect this. Metabolism, we expect it here too much, and growth, we expect it here too much. Yeah, you can differentiate between a person who is young and old. You see that the muscles are different, totally different. Yes, you understand. And then how much waste should you produce and stuff being detoxificated and the body is being done, all that metabolism is being done basically in the liver. That's why we say that liver has plus or minus 100 functions. Is one of the organ in the body has the highest number of functions. It performs the highest number of function. Yes. So someone is going to say is the brain. No, the brain doesn't have as many functions as the liver it does. You understand? So it means that the liver has the highest number of functions. So in this case, we're going to say, we're going to go with the 2 and 4. 2 and 4 becomes 2 and 4. So it becomes C. C becomes the most correct answer. Then we go to 1.6. The diagram below represents the pupillary mechanism. When you say pupillary mechanism, it means that you are talking about the pupil. We are talking about the ability of the eye to see in dim and bright light, because that is the pupil. The pupil is the size, is this thing you see. Actually, if you look at someone's eye, you see a pupil. You see a person. Where you see a person is what you call a pupil. So now a person, so we see that. Let's find out here. This is the pupil. This is the diameter of the pupil, the space of the pupil. Yes, the pupil. So this is the iris. So these are the muscles. The one which go like this, they run from, they're like radius. So Z is Y is the radial muscles, while the one which move like this, the X, is the circular muscles. Remember, we have the circular muscles and we have the radial muscles. So if you have R with the R, the radial muscles relaxing, and then you see with the C, then this is bralite. If you have R with the C, C with the R, it is dim light. That's when you mix things up. All right. A person suddenly look up from their braille mobile phone screen to a dark room. You are from the braille light. You are from the braille light. Yes. And then you're going to the dark room. So meaning that we explain where we have gone to. So we explain dim light. Right, that's what I said. So it means that in dim light, we shall see that the circular muscles, we see that the the circular muscles in dim light, circular muscles will relax. Circular muscles will relax. Eh? And then the radial muscles must do what? Must contract. Yes? Must contract. So now let's first identify here properly. We come back here. So we say that in dim light, the circular muscles will relax. Where is the circular muscles? It is Y. Do we have Y? Circular muscles will relax. So we have relax, relax, because we say that the one which run radio in the circular way is the circular muscles. So then now we have got the first answer. It can either be A or C. So these ones are out now. This one is out. Also, this one is out. Okay, we go to the next one. Radio muscles contract. Radio muscles, we said it is X. Radio muscles contract. So this is the radio muscles. This is the circular muscles. Radio muscles contract. Cool. So we see this one is contracting. They want to kill us, ne? This contract. Okay. So it's still we are on the same track. Then the diameter of the pupil, because when you look into the darkness, you open your eyes widely so that much more light can enter the eye. So the diameter of the pupil has to dilate, ne? Yes. So it must dilate. Constrict. This one becomes wrong. This one becomes more right. So the most correct answer becomes C. Yes. So it's simple like that. So you just need to know the mechanism, how it works. Yes. All right. That is 1.6. 1.7. Illustration below represents a 28 menstrual cycle. Menstrual cycle. This is the most beautiful cycle. Why the most beautiful cycle? Because if the cycle was not there, you wouldn't have been produced. Anyway, yeah. We go to the first question. They're saying that based on the above illustration, select the correct option of different hormone levels. But different hormone levels, I have to know which one is which. From day 0 to day around 7, here we have this hormone. Obviously, this hormone will have to be FSH. Then day 14, on day 14 here, we expect the highest hormone to be LH. But immediately after just before day 14 and just after day 14, it has to drop. So it means that if you look at its graph, it goes like that. Ne? And this hormone is supposed to be LH. Anyway, they're saying why. We don't know why they're saying why. Then we have hormone Z. What happens, the hormone which comes after day 14 is progesterone. So if it is progesterone, what happens? Why are they putting it here? Meaning that if you are pregnant, because now we are saying menstruation, it means that this person was not pregnant. It means that now the graph after day 14, luteinizing hormone was like that, and then progesterone was very low, then it increased. But because the person was not pregnant, it decreased again. You understand? Let's go and find out. They're saying that progesterone X is progesterone 0. So whenever I see progesterone, this is wrong. This is wrong. So the most correct answer is B and C. Does follicle stimulating hormone increase? Yes, because you have to prepare for the production of the ovum. So the graphene follicle is supposed to develop. So this looks to be correct. This is to be correct. Let's go to Y. Y, it is next to day 14. So I expect it to be, I expect it to either be progesterone, whether it's increasing, and then progesterone either it's increasing or luteinizing hormone is decreasing, because on day 14 it has past day 14. So since they're talking about Y is luteinizing hormone, so correct, Y is luteinizing hormone. So it is after day 14, you see, it goes up only on day 14, drops down. So I expect Y to drop down at this point because day 14 is here. So if I look at it properly, we shall see that this It's day 14, but it's after day 14. So automatically, the hormone is going to be like that. So low, the LH is going to be low. High, no. Low, it looks correct. Low, correct, but already is wrong here. So this one is out already. And also this one is also out already. So this is high, LH is high. No, this is wrong. So the correct answer looks, the only option which is remaining is B. So we need to prove that, yes, the B is the correct one. So we go to see that Z, we say that check. Because of this menstruation, then the progesterone is supposed to drop. So because it's dropping, so what happens? It happens that this, since it's dropping, yes, since it's dropping here, we say that it's too far from day 14. So you see that it's supposed to be high. So the corpus luteum is degenerating. When it degenerates, then it means that it is producing less amount of progesterone. If it produces less amount of progesterone, then automatically it means that this hormone is going to be dropping in the levels. So it means that this Z, which is progesterone, it must be decreasing. Estrogen, no. Progesterone decreases. You see, it's giving us the perfect answer. We say that, yeah, now B becomes the most correct answer. So the answer here is B. And then we say progesterone increases. How will it increase when the person is undergoing menstruation just soon? Then it means that the endometrium was not maintained, thickened, or it was not made much more thicker, vesicular and granular for glandular for a long period of time, or towards day 28, meaning that the person is not pregnant. Anyway, menstrual cycle, we have explained it a lot. If you don't understand it better, please just check on our channel and then check Thundereduc, or you check it and then you say that menstruation Thundereduc. Whatever you are looking for, you can search by that and then you end with the word Thundereduc. Then you'll be able to get that answer right. All right, so we go to the next question, what 1.1.8. Which of the following diagram best suit for the homeostatic process of the skin when the medium temperature drops to 0? You are starting from medium temperature, then goes to 0, meaning that you are going to the cold day. So it means that the blood vessels, the capillaries, remember when you are cold, the blood vessels are supposed to be very, 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 very far from the skin, meaning that the shunt is the one which is supposed to completely work without any blood capillaries passing near the skin, because we don't want to lose this heat. You understand? We need this heat so that we can maintain our temperatures so that we are able to survive. Yes, so here we see that it's next the skin, too much the skin. Looks to be very hot, very hot. So it's out. This one looks to be hot, but this one looks to be hotter. Why? Because the blood capillaries here, it looks to be big. They look to be big, but here is darker. So I don't know whether they are trying to mean this is blood passing, but the diameter of this is much more bigger than this. But now this one, because if you check, this one is big and this one is small, so this one looks to be much hotter compared to A. So all these are showing that the individual is in the hot temperatures, or the hotness also differ depending on the characteristics we have seen. But this one is too far from the skin, the skin. So it means that the blood vessels near the skin are no longer working, meaning that the blood is passing that deep far, so that it minimizes the amount of blood which is passing through the skin, minimizing the heat loss. The same story, your body is going to be too far from the surface when it's too much cold, by putting a lot of blankets on yourself. So to reach the skin is gonna be very, 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 very deep. You understand? So that's the same story here. So D becomes the most correct answer. They're saying that the part of the eye that prevents the internal reflection of the light, when this one happens when you look at the dogs, ne? Yeah, you see that they are glittering at night when you strike light in them. So it's because of this. So internal reflection is being done by the choroid. Yes. And then the last question, the man injures himself in an accident. Afterwards, he feels objects, He can feel the object touching his hand, but cannot move his hand away from them. They're saying that what is most likely to have caused this, meaning that you are able to feel this, but you won't be able to react, meaning that the sensory neuron are working properly, but anything related to motor neuron is not working properly. Why? Because you are not able to bring about the effect. So here we say that the receptor of the hand are damaged. No, you're able to feel. The motor connection of is cut between his central nervous system and the effector. Yes, it looks to be correct. Looks to be correct, but let's continue and find out. The nerve connection is cut only between the receptors in his hand and the central nervous system. The receptors, no, this is wrong. They're saying that both the nerve connections to and from the hand, nope, you are able to feel. You are able to feel. So this one wrong. So B becomes the most correct answer. And those people who wrote this paper, I think now you got 20 out of 20. And if you did not get 20 out of 20, I think now you know the reason why you did not get 20 out of 20. All right, we go to the next questions, which we call the terminologies. I like them. I like them. I like them. So, period when males and females reach sexual maturity. So how do we call this? We say that we call this one puberty. So mechanical defense mechanical defense mechanism employed by plants to deter herbivore or herbivory. This is the we like is they have already talked about mechanical, so we cannot use it. So we can use thorns. Yes, these are thorns which are being used to do what? To remove these herbivores from eating. However, there are some organisms which can eat thorns, like the giraffes. Yes. Reproductive mechanism. Yes. Reproductive mechanism used by organisms to maximize their reproductive success. We call this thing a reproductive strategy. But I don't know why do they use a reproductive method. Yes, it is a reproductive strategy. Yes. Don't know how they're going to mark it, but it's a reproductive strategy to maximize the reproductive success of the organism. So we can say reproductive strategy. Yes, strategy. Strategy. Yes. And they're saying that the use of two eyes with overlapping field of view so that they separate images, so that separate images are combined and interpreted. We call this one binocular. Is by, which means two. Binocular. Cula is vision, ne? The eyes, ne? Binocular vision. They're saying two overall shaped organs located in the male reproductive system which produce the male hormones. So we call them testes. Testes. What about when you say testes? This is wrong because they said two. Two. So testes is a plural for this. This means one, this means many. Oh, I don't know if they give you, but they said two. So the correct answer is this. Target organ of hormone aldosterone responsible for salt regulation. It's a kidney. It's a kidney. Yes, it's the target organ. They're not saying specific structure in the kidney. It would have been a nephron, but they're saying organ. So the detectable change that have occurred in the internal or external environment. So we call this one a stimulus. Stimulus. The stimulus. This one is called the stimulus, but they say detectable changes. Detectable changes. Yes. So stimuli. So it could be stimuli. Stimuli. Yes. So the pro one or two they can give you because at least you have the right answer. Like here and here, they can also give you. Yes. They're saying that membrane in the amniotic egg, that allows gaseous exchange form. So we call this one chorion. Chorion. Yes, we call it chorion. And then they're saying that autoimmune disease characterized by degeneration of the myelin sheath. So we call this one multiple sclerosis. So you guys, we always ask you about multiple sclerosis and Alzheimer's disease. We always ask you about that. So you guys make sure that you got all those answers right. So when you go to 1.1, 1.3, which is both A and B, let's see how did you perform that. So many people here make a lot of mistakes by giving the answer. Like, for example, they ask you 1.1.1.3.1, then they just write like control center, or they write effector, and then or others just write A, and then others say B, both. Others just say A and B. You're not following the instruction. The instruction is saying A only, B only, both A and B, or none. Why do you have to give different? They even gave you an example that write A only. You see? Yes. So please follow the instruction when it comes to this section. Otherwise, you might lose marks for no reason. All right. So we are saying that components of negative feedback component of the negative feedback mechanism system. So what are the components of the negative feedback mechanism system? Control center, then the effector is both A and B. It must be a control center, there must be an effector, there must be a receptor, but we can't write all of them. So they just picked two. Then yeah. So I don't want to talk about the distinction material book, because yes, you guys, you know, those people who are using that distinction material book, you always find all these answers. So the answer is both A and B. So then they are saying that secretory product released into a duct, not blood, into a duct, meaning that it has these glands, they have the the duct. Yes, it is not released, secretory product released into the duct. So you have the endocrine gland, and then we have the exocrine gland. So it could be, I said so, this could be B only. B only. Why you said A and B, but with the word both A and B? B only. Why? Because this one, it releases the secretion in the blood. You understand? But they're saying that releases into the duct, not blood. So the only one which releases into the duct, we call them duct gland. Those are the exocrine glands. However, there are some glands which are both exocrine and endocrine, but they are not talking about those glands. They're just specific to that. So it becomes B only. B becomes the most correct answer. Component of central nervous system. Component of the central nervous system is the cranial nerves and the spinal nerves. So the answer here becomes these are spinal nerves and then cranial nerves. These are not central nervous system. They're not central nervous system. They're not saying the central nervous system is made up of the brain and the spinal cord. So they're saying nerves. So since they are nerves, so it becomes none. It's a none. So that is 1.3. Guys, whenever we have such things, I always tell students you must label so that you're able to get the things right. So we have A. A looks to be the bladder. Eh? No, the prostate gland. B looks to be epididymis. C looks to be the testis. D looks to be the penis. And then E looks to be the bladder. All right. So let's shoot and find out what are they talking about in this case. They're saying that write the letter name of the structure that produce alkaline fluid that neutralizes the virginity, the vagina's acidity. The vagina's acidity. So here they are looking for prostate gland. Prostate gland, which is A only. Sorry, not A only. Which is A. Where's my pen? Yes, A. So it is the prostate gland. You say A, and then you tell us that is prostate gland. Yes. Then they go to the next question. They're saying that stores mature sperms. Stores mature sperms. Stores sperms until they mature. Stores mature sperms. Not all of them are mature. You understand? Not all of them are mature. The stores, the function of this, the epidermis does not store mature sperms, ne? Only. It stores these sperms so that they're able to mature. So it stores both mature and then immature. You understand? Yes, so it is epididymis. So the answer is B. And then it goes to epididymis. Then we go there. Explain one way in which structure D, which is the penis. So since they have not talked about it, I think you identifying it could be a mark. Okay, structure D increase the chances of internal fertilization. Obviously, it's long enough to put the sperms where they are needed. Yeah, meaning that they put the sperms into the vagina so that these sperms, they have short distance to travel to reach the ovum. Yes. So basically, you can say that the penis are it's, yes, we know that this is a penis which is long enough to ejaculate the sperms into the vagina, which is closer to the ovum, so that fertilization can take place. Yes, so the answer must be modified based on that the penis puts these sperms, yes, structure D, which is the penis, puts these sperms into the vagina, that is the female reproductive system, you understand, so that now these sperms are closer to the ovum, so for fertilization to take place. Then 1.5, they're saying that name the reproductive strategy in which the eggs are produced. They're looking for the reproductive strategy where eggs, whenever you are producing eggs, so that is oviparous. Yes, that is oviparous. It is ovipary. External embryonic membrane that collects nitrogenous wastes and assists the exchange of gases. So we call this one allantois. Allantois. Yes, allantois. Allantois. Yes, we call it allantois. List 2 benefits of viviparous to increase the fetus survival, or the fetus survival. First of all, the fetus obtain nutrients directly from the mother's body. We know that. So since it is vivipary, vivi, which means inside, vivi, which means inside, vivipary, the fetus is able to obtain nutrients direct from the mother. You understand? Yes. The number 2, the fetus is able to be protected. Yeah, it's able to be protected from the environmental changes. Yes. So Vivi is the organism, the baby is being protected from the environmental changes. Number 2, the fetus is able to be able to get nutrients directly from the mother. Then question 1.6, the diagram below represents the interaction between 2 important endocrine glands. So we see that we have the pituitary gland here. Sorry guys, pituitary gland here, and then you have the thyroid gland there. So A, we see that identify the hormones secreted by A. Hormone secreted by A. Oh, so it's this. Yeah, these are arrows, These are arrows. So since this hormone comes, because pituitary gland produces a lot of hormones. But how do I know that hormone comes to the thyroid gland? So which hormone is that? Is TSH, thyroid stimulating hormone. Then gland B is thyroid stimulating hormone. Type of interaction represented diagram It is a negative feedback mechanism. We call it is a negative feedback mechanism. Disorder that is characterized by the enlargement of the thyroid gland, enlargement of structure D, B, because they said B because they wanted you to identify B. They can't say the thyroid gland, so the answer is goiter. Sometimes when I'm teaching it, I say it in Afrikaans. Goiter. I like it. Yes. Goiter or goitera. So whatever you read it, as long as it's correct. The hormone that stimulates the body to increase the metabolic rate when injured. So when there is an when so not injured required, the one which increases the metabolic rate, it is called the thyroxine. Yes, we call them thyroxine. So that is the hormone which is being produced by the thyroid gland, and then you're able to increase the metabolic rate. So basically, guys, that is 50 marks. So I hope you guys got all of them, 50 out of 50. And then if you got 50 out of 50, congratulations for 50 out of 50. Aha. Question number 2. Glue A, also known as glue A is also known as otitis, otitis. Yes, media with the effusion is condition where the fluid build up in the middle ear. The diagram below displays this condition. So remember that I told you that whenever you have such, you need to label it, and then you're able to understand it better. So we say that this is the pinna, this is the these are the oscars, but the first one is the hammer. Marius. Better call it Marius because we don't like it to be called hammer. Then this is the semicircular canals. This is the auditory nerves. And then this is the tympanic membrane. So identify part A. So we know it is pinna. And then part D, it is auditory nerves. Describe they're saying that describe how glue ear will inhibit the function of E and B. How will this glue ear, we know what you put here, will limit the function of E, this E and B. Automatically this one will not vibrate, and then this one will not try to amplify the vibration. So what can you say here? Say that the build up of this glue ear will increase pressure. Yeah, it will, because now too much is going to increase pressure facing that side. You understand? It is going to limit the vibration of the structure E, or the vibration of the tympanic membrane. It's going to limit the vibration. And then less vibration, it means that less sound, which is less vibration of E, it means that less vibration of B. You understand? And then if this less vibration, it means that the oscars will not be able to move freely. You understand? Meaning that there won't be amplification of the vibration. And then this will lead to the vibration being passed to the middle ear, to the inner ear, to be less. You understand? Because everything, if you say less, it's gonna be less vibration of the tympanic membrane, less vibration of the oscars. Yes. So if it's less vibration of the oscars, less vibration will be passed into the inner ear. You see? Yes. And then what will happen if less vibration to the, and then it will lead to the hearing loss. You will have to be with the problems with the hearing. So you'll become deaf. You'll become deaf. Someone is going to say, hey, does it make it to be deaf? Yes. Some people are deaf, not that completely deaf, they are partially deaf. If someone calls you and says, yeah, when someone talks to you and says, you keep on saying, meaning that you are deaf. You are deaf. Yes, meaning that you are partially. Most especially the people who are very old, people are very old, they have that hearing problem. So they are deaf. But they are not completely deaf. They are not fully deaf. They are partially deaf. All right. State the suitable treatment to drain this fluid which builds up. Yes, so it means that if there is too much fluid here, yes, this pressure is coming from this side and this pressure is coming from this side. So the one which is being built from this side through the air will not be able to. So it means that now what is going to happen, since there is too much fluid inside, let me just do like this, too much fluid in here, like this black thing you see, it means that the pressure is too much here, and then once it is too much here, since the fluid cannot make this, so how do I ease this pressure, this pain? By inserting what called the grommets. You insert what called the grommets. Yes, you put what called the grommets. Visit our distinction material book. You'll be able to get this perfectly well. Identify the precaution to prevent. Identify the precaution to prevent the filled up fluid build up when swimming with the treatment. You have the grommet. So what you need to do is to insert the what called the ear plugs to prevent the entry of water in the middle ear. You just have to put in something in the ears so that there is prevention of this water from the middle ear. So that is it. That what it means. Then let's go to the next question. They're saying that explain two ways in which structure C is adapted to its function. Adapted to its function. Structure C, that is the semicircular canals. This one, if you look at the semicircular canals, is having different planes. Is having what? Different planes. So they are arranged in a right angle. Check, check, and check. They are arranged in right angles. Since they are arranged in right angles, they are able to detect the movement in all the three planes. All the three planes. So arrangement is right angles for what? For detecting motion or movement in three planes. Yes. They don't stop there. Yes. That is they have what you call sensory cells, the receptors, which is the crystal, which is found in the ampulla. You understand? Which is the crystal, which is found in the what? In the ampulla. This helps to detect the speed of the head. Yes. And also they have the endolength. This endolength is very important. Remember, when you say endo means inside. Lymph is a milky substance. Is like a milky substance. It's a fat-like substance. Ne? This one is very, 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 very important. To stimulate the hair follicles. The hair follicles in the what? In the hair follicles in to bring about the sensation. So when they are being displaced, yes, we are able to detect the movement of the head. Which side of the head it is? Which side of the head it is? You understand? Yes. If this cannot do its job, then it means that you will see someone having the head tilting itself, and then when you tell the person that your head is tilted, and then you said, no, it's not tilted, doesn't understand that the head is tilted. Why? Because these endolymph, these sensory cells are not working properly. So basically they have a lot of things you can talk about here. You can talk about the sensory cells. You can talk about the planes in which the semicircular canals are being connected. You can talk about the endolymph. So all this, they only want to, yes, just talk about the sensory cells, and then you talk about the function of the sensory cells, then you're able to get those marks. Yes. We go to question number 2. The table below shows the distance of the object from the eye and approximate lens thickness. Okay, name the process that occurs when the eye is closer than 6 meters. 6 meters, yes. They're saying process, so we call it accommodation. So it is accommodation, but less than 6 meters, that is a nearby object. You are viewing an object which is nearby, so it's still accommodation. Describe the change in the eye that allows a clear image to form on the retina when the object is 17 meters away. This is a far object. Remember, far object, we see that the lens becomes very small, which is called less convex. The ligaments, suspensory ligaments, becomes stout. Then the ciliary muscles, uh they the ciliary muscles, they relax. So you have to talk about that. Ciliary muscles relax, suspensory ligament become taut, or they tighten. The tension on the lens increase. The lens becomes less convex, and then light rays are reflected less. Eh? Yes, light, because the lens is less convex. Light rays are reflected less, and then a clear image is focused onto the retina. So basically, that's it. But the mark for a clear image is focused on the retina. You won't get it. You know why? Because they say that to allow a clear image to form onto the retina. So they can't credit you that mark, but you must always write like that. Yes, so that even if it's not like this question in other way with the 5 marks, then at least you are able to get that answer, that a clear image is focused onto the retina. Then we go to the next question. They're saying that if the lens is fixed and unable to change its curvature due to a nearsightedness, okay? Draw the diagram. They're saying that you need to draw the diagram, which for the spectacles needed to correct this for seeing a distance object, include the path of incoming light rays, and then how they are adjusted to. Remember, let's read this. If the lens is fixed, unable to change its curvature, okay, due to the due to the near sightedness, meaning that due to the near sightedness, it means that this person is able to see objects which are near, but won't be able to see objects which are far. So when you look at it, here it was 17 mirrors. So it means that the lens is gonna be like this. You understand? But they're saying that it is thin. Did I draw it as thin? Let me just redraw it so that it doesn't look fat. Yes, it looks a bit thin now. And then it's unable to change its curvature due to a near sightedness, meaning that you want to see objects which are near, but you won't be able to see them. You can't change. You only saw the object which are far, which is long sightedness. So it means that if you are near, yes, and then this is the retina, which is here, and you're supposed to, the far object, it comes, and then the object is formed here. For example, let me just draw it like this. The far object, you're able to come, and then, yes. Now you bring, let me read this question again, because I don't want to bring wrong answers here. If the lens is fixed, unable to change its curvature due to near, due to near object, meaning why are they bringing complicated equation to my students? So here they say, oh my god, this question is different from this question. It's different. So they're saying if the lens is fixed, unable to change, if you're unable to change, it means that you are there. Its covered due to the nearby object. You're able to see objects which are near. Like you can't change. You are fixed in that. You are stuck in the nearby object, the near object. Okay, meaning that the lens, remember, if you are seeing the objects which are near, the lens is supposed to be fat. You understand? It's supposed to be, don't say fat in exam, guys. We call it more convex. It's more convex. So it means that the nearby object, yes, it comes with a wide beam of view, And then what happens? It's able to focus on the retina. But now it's simple. What about for the far object? Because now that's where the problem is. See, this is a nearby object. Far object comes as parallel beam. You see? It comes as parallel beam. You see the field is less than the nearby object. So because this lens is fixed, it can't change. So it means that the object is going to form before the retina. If this is our retina, if this is our retina, meaning that the object is going to form. So what is the remedy of pushing this light from this point to this point? So what I need to do is I'm going to have to put a convex. Did I say convex? This is not a convex. This is a concave. So that now this diverts. Let me just use black, different color, so that this diverts. You see? By the time it reaches the lens, it's in the same point with the object which is coming in from near. You see? So it will gonna appear like it's coming from a nearby object. And then once light is bent, it's gonna put the image here. So in other words, is this what they are looking for? No, that's not what they are looking for. So these are arrows. This arrow shows that it's light rays. Okay. So what are they looking for? They're looking for a diagram like this. That this is our lens. This is our retina. So the light rays come and then put the convex lens here. Yes, concave lens, not convex lens. And then light rays, they are bent the retina, and then a clear image is focused onto the retina. So this is the retina, this is the eye lens or the concave convex lens, and then this is the concave for the spectacles. So they're looking for something like this, and then these are light rays. They come like that. So that's what they are looking for. But this one was just an explanation of that diagram. We explained it very well in our distinction material book. So we got the next question, which they're asking about what is A, what is A, what is B, what is C, what is D. So, yeah. So, A, it looks to be a synapse, and then B looks to be, what is this? It comes where? It comes like this. This one is, the arrow is going in. So it looks to be sensory neuron, and then C looks to be the stimulus. C looks to be a stimulus. Then D looks to be the motor neuron. Yes, looks to be the motor neuron. Even you can see here. And then E looks to be the spinal cord. So define a reflex arc is a path traveled by the impulse during the reflex action. Yes, the path traveled by the impulse during the reflex action. Or path an impulse takes from the receptor to the effector during the reflex action. Because this thing of saying that from a receptor to the effector, what if it's going to the brain? So you have to link it to during the reflex action. They're saying that apart from being reflex center, describe one additional function of part E. One additional function of part E. What is the function of part E? Of part E. First of all, transmits impulse from the receptor to the brain. Yes, you see? So it's not about... No, this one is not a reflex action. You understand? That's why I'm always asking you that whenever you define a reflex arc, it must be linked to the reflex action. Number two, it helps to coordinate muscle movement, and the balance. Yes. How does it do that? By transmitting the impulse between the brain and the body. Yes, because the brain is on top. How do they reach? They have to go through the what? The spinal cord. Yes. So It is a connection between the brain and other parts of the body. Yes, you can also say that. Or you can talk about transmitting the impulse from the brain to the effector. Remember, from the receptor to the brain, from the brain to the effector, and also it can also bring about the coordination of movement and balance by allowing the transmission of this impulse between the brain and the other body parts. So basically, the spinal cord is very important. That's why that if the spinal cord is broken, that part, from that part downward, where it has got broken, you're going to become paralyzed. Why? Because the spinal cord, all those neurons are cut. Tabulate the visible differences between neuron B and neuron D. Neuron B, we say that you see the impulse is going in, so it means this is the sensory neuron. Sensory neuron, while neuron D is a motor neuron. Yes, so it means that they are looking for the differences between motor neuron and then the sensory neuron. Yes, so that one, and they say that tabulate. Let me go back. Tabulate, tabulate. It means that you're supposed to give clear, ne? Clear, clear, clear. They're saying visible. First of all, we see that the sensory neuron, check the sensory neuron, the cell body is along, is well here, the cell body is at the terminal, you see, and then you can see that the sensory neuron, it shows that it's enter the spinal cord, yes, via the what? Via the dorsal root, because this is a dorsal root, while this one is enters the spinal cord, leaves, it leaves because of the arrow, the spinal cord via the ventral root. So they are looking at, what can you say? Yes. What are you? What do you see? Yes. And others you have identified. You might identify something which have not identified and is correct. Identify the structure formed at A. At A. Where's A? Structure. Identify the structure at A. That's a synapse. And the state of its function. Two of its function. So in this case, we're going to look at two functions of the synapse. It allows impulse to move in one direction. That's the first one. It prevents the continuous stimulation of the neuron. Yeah, some people, they always see there, one of the part of the body is always twitching, like, and then you start telling stories that, oh, you're gonna see something, you're gonna get money. Who told you? Scientifically, no. Spiritually, I don't know. Yes, but scientifically, no. That is continuous stimulation of the what? Of the muscles. Yes. So that is as a result of that. Anyway, it's a belief. Doesn't mean that it's correct, because just a belief. You just believe. Yes. But whatever you believe, does it mean that is correct? Some of them are not. But here, if you believe, is your belief. We are talking about now here, scientifically. Please don't write it in exam and then tell us that no, you're gonna get money, you're gonna see something. Please don't mix spiritual things with science. So in this case, we call it continuous stimulation. So it's because now you are cutting. When we have the synapse, it's like a key to start the engine. The key will, when you switch it on, the switch will connect the engine with the battery, and so that now the whole system, the circuit is complete. So that is the synapse. The synapse helps to connect the whole circuit. So if that circuit is disconnected, automatically the flow of electricity will not happen. So it will regulate how much is going and in which direction that electricity is supposed to flow in the body. So that's it. And that's why it's like that. Then they're saying that 2.4, 2.4, they're saying that most effector organs of human body are double innervated, meaning that they receive connections from both sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system of fibers. Which division of the nervous system do above nerve fibers belong? They belong to autonomic nervous system. Remember, we said that autonomic nervous system is divided into two, that is sympathetic and parasympathetic, which work antagonistically. This autonomic nervous system, it involves the spinal nerves and the cranial nerves, of which the spinal nerves, how many are they? 12 pairs, and then cranial nerves, there are 12 pairs, and the spinal nerves are 31 pairs. Pairs, not 31 nerves, pairs. Yes, if we don't get it right properly or what I'm talking about, you can visit our book for distinction material book. You'll be able to get. By the way, we are loading the new version in 2026, God willing. Yes, and now someone's gonna say, didn't you talk about now spiritual things? Anyway, that's life. All right, we continue saying that discuss one reason why each nerve fiber or as to why the heart requires double innervation. They're asking you why. Discuss one reason for each type of nerve fiber. Yes, as why the heart requires double innervation. Why should the heart require sympathetic nervous or nerves, and then why should it require parasympathetic? Remember, you said that they work antagonistically. So if the heart beat increases, it is as a result above normal. It could be as a result of sympathetic nervous system. So the sympathetic nervous system helps in increasing the heartbeat so that you can increase the flow of blood to the muscles, to the body, depending on the situation. But once the situation is done, now we have to talk about the parasympathetic. It has to return the cardiac beat to go back to normal, because you can't be having high pressure all the time, so that now it can operate in the normal conditions. So sympathetic will increase the heartbeat so that it can allow the blood to flow to different parts of the body, and then the parasympathetic will bring back the heartbeat to normal so that it brings back the situation to, so that the blood is not flowing that too much with a high blood pressure. Yes, so as I told you that one increases, one decreases, which we call antagonistically. In English, we call it opposite way. All right, 2.5. The pie chart below displays the collective amount of water lost by an individual over a 24-hour period. The total amount of water lost, now this one is the thermal, osmoregulation. Let me check. The water loss was lost at this. Okay, they're saying amount of water loss. Okay, over a period of time. I'm seeing it here. I think they have combined both of them. It's thermal regulation and osmoregulation. All right. Name the process secreted from the adrenal gland that helps. Name the hormone secreted from the adrenal gland that helps regulate water balance. They said from adrenal gland. We know that water balance is being controlled by ADH, antidiuretic hormone. But now they're saying from adrenal gland. Remember, salt concentration, yes, salt concentration is linked to water balance. If you have too much salts, it means that you have less amount of water in the body. If you have less salts, it means that you have high amount of water in the body. It could, there is a correlation there. So in this case, in actual sense, what hormone controls the amount of salt in the body? So that is aldosterone. So in this case, we are looking for aldosterone. Don't want this black one. And that color, at least, yes. So the answer becomes aldosterone. Determine the amount of water in cubic centimeters lost through sweat. So remember, this is This is a pie chart of which is a circle which is 360 so degrees. So since 360, the amount of water which lost through sweat, it is 85, 83, 83 degrees. So it's going to be 83 over the 360 times the total amount of water which is being lost. In this case, they say that it is 2,600 cubic centimeters. So I'm going to say 2,600 cubic centimeters, and then 2,600 cubic centimeters. When I calculate, I get 59944 cubic centimeters. So that is the amount of water which is being lost through sweat. So these are questions which don't come every time, but just in case something looks like, yes, at least you are guided. So whenever they bring the pie chart, make sure that you put it under degrees. Why? Because the pie chart is 360. From your observation above, explain how ADH assists in conservation. Oh, okay, I'm done with this. Explain how ADH assists to conserve water. So how does ADH assist in the conservation of water? So you need to first ask yourself, where does ADH do this job from? It does this job from where? In the kidney. All right. What is the cause of this ADH if it is too much in the kidney? So it's going to increase the permeability. Which part of the kidney is the the nephron? It's the collecting duct and the distal convoluted tube. So your answers must be linked to that. If there is more ADH, the permeability is going to increase, so more reabsorbed, meaning that you're going to have less urine which is being lost to the urine. So explain how does ADH assist in to conserve water, meaning that you're going to lose less water in the urine. So you say that increase in ADH or ADH is being produced from the brain. You understand? Which travels in the blood to the kidney. You understand? To the kidney. That is the nephron. The nephron or the collecting duct and distal convoluted tube, use nephron because it's just one word. It is going to increase the permeability of this nephron, yes, leading to more reabsorption. Guys, the word is not absorption. Absorption is wrong. Is reabsorption, because the second absorption, because the first absorption occurred in the first absorption occurred in the digestive system. This is the second absorption. That's why in science we call it reabsorption. Yes, it's the second absorption, so it becomes reabsorption. Meaning that more water is gonna be reabsorbed back to blood, and then less is gonna be lost through urine. That's it. From the observation above, is the individual experiencing hot or cold day? We have too much urine, less sweat. If it was hot day, it would have been too much sweat, less urine. You know that in winter we urinate too much more than the way we sweat. So the answer becomes here, cold day. I will go with cold day. Describe two reasons for your answer. Yes, we have high production of urine. Yes. During cold day, the sweat gland or the sweat is produced less. You understand? More urine is being what? Meaning that more wastes are being lost as urine. And then if there is less, we see that more urine could be a mark, less sweat. Those are two marks. Yes. And then we know that during cold, we sweat less. And then we urinate more. Meaning that the most of the wastes, they go with the urine than sweat. If you have tested your sweat, you have tested your urine. Because those are almost the same composition. The function both is excretion. And what do they excrete? Nitrogenous wastes. So if you have tested your sweat, you have tested your urine. So don't say that urine, yeah, you have tested. Not only these drunk the people, they say that if someone is drunk, you have too much, you feed you put a lot of urine in the mouth, and then hey, I don't know, guys, but I always hear those stories. So if you think that those are the only people who have tested the urine, you have also done. All right, let's go and then answer the next question. Oh, this last question. They're saying that what is A? We look at A as the uterus or uterine walls. We see here is implantation is trying to take place. It's like hatching. Okay, it's sinking, not hatching. Yeah, because first sink and then it hatches. All right, and then you have E. It looks to be a hollow ball of cells, which is morula. Did I say morula? Blastula. F, it looks to be a morula. This one looks to be fertilization is taking place. And then you see here these are the microfilament. This one looks to be a placenta. Okay, it will depend on what they're asking, but yes, provide labels for part process B. They're saying process B. Let me first clear it up. Process B. Process B. Process D. It is implantation. Yes. It's starting to sink itself. Structure F is a ball of cells, which is morula. They're saying that name two functions of G. Where's G now? Oh, G is the fallopian tube. They are looking for this fallopian tube, that tube. So basically, it facilitates the movement of the sperms, né? Yeah, so that fertilization can take place. Number two is a site for fertilization. We know that one. It's a site for fertilization. Yes. Uh, uh, Number three, maybe we can talk about keeping the ovum and the sperms hydrated so that they don't dry up. Because remember, these are cells which don't have too much thickness on their structures. You understand? So anytime they can be dehydrated. That's why they are supposed to be incorporated in waste, in moist areas. So it hydrates. Number two is you can talk about site for fertilization. Number three, you can talk about facilitating the movement of the sperms and ovum so that they're able to meet and the fertilization takes place. So yeah, you can talk about any functions there. They're saying that explaining how ovarian hormones cause structure A to become thickened, except structure A, or the endometrium, or oh, yeah, this one looks to be the endometrium. So I said the uterine wall at first, you know? Yes, this looks, so this is the uterine wall. Yeah, okay, the endometrium. So basically, how does it do that? Um, Let me first read the question. Explain how ovarian hormones cause structure A to become thickened. One of the ovarian hormones, these are hormones which are produced. They work in the ovary. You understand? They work in the ovary. What do they do? But these hormones are so basically they work. They are being produced by the ovary, whereby one is the Graafian follicle, another one is corpus luteum. So that is estrogen and progesterone. So how does the estrogen and progesterone uh, aid? It's going to explain how the ovarian hormones cause structure A to thicken. So basically, you can talk about that, identify them. You can get a mark for that because they're just talking about ovarian hormones. Talk about these hormones are estrogen and progesterone. Yeah, they cause the endometrium to become more vesicular, more thicker, and more glandular. Yes, more vesicular, more thicker, and more glandular. You understand? Yes. Why? So that they're able to prepare the uterus for implantation when the zygote has been formed or when fertilization has taken place. So that's what they are looking for in this case. You'll check the memo what exactly I'm saying, but that's what they are looking at when I look at the question, the way they have said it. Describe three functions of structure B. Structure B. What is structure B? Structure B is the placenta. This one is very important for anything you do, nutrition, gaseous exchange, excretion, removal of waste products, endocrine, that is production of hormones, prevention of, that is protection, prevention of pathogens, all those things. But they're saying describe three. So it means that you tell us nutrition, how does? By allowing nutrients to diffuse in and out of the fetus, from the mother to the fetus. You understand? A gaseous exchange, allowing oxygen to go in the blood with high level of oxygen. Yes, will approach there, and then oxygen will diffuse into the fetus, and then carbon dioxide will diffuse out of the fetus to the mother's blood. So you explain these concepts. That's what they are looking at. So you talk about the nutrition, talk about the gaseous exchange, you talk about the excretion, you talk about the endocrine function, talk about the protection, that is the pathogenic prevention of microorganisms. Yes, pathogens, that disease-causing organisms. Is it too few? If too few of the structure C, which structure is C? Okay, what are they saying now? Forms, discuss two ways in which this can be negatively, meaning that if this structure there is too few, meaning that there is no microfilter. So what is going to happen? First of all, toxins are going to build up. You won't be able to remove those wastes. Number two, this kid might, the fetus might die because there is no nutrition. The baby is not being fed. The baby is not being fed, so that it can lead to the death of the baby. Yes. Question 3.2. Question 3.2. Clomiphene is a medication used to treat fertility in women. I think researchers wanted to find out how well this clomiphene helps to improve their fertility. Clomiphene increase the FSH level, okay? Increase the FSH levels, which help the ova to grow and be released, improving the chances of pregnancy, okay? A woman taking clomiphene for fertility was treated with 5 days, for 5 days. Her blood oxygen level were measured every 27 days. The research for guideline, the woman had how low FSH levels, too low for normal ovum production. She had to be healthy woman without disease. Okay, 40 to 18 to 40. Okay, those are questions we're gonna be asking you. She should not have family history infertility. Take 50 grams of clomiphene by the mouth each day. Okay, she had to give a consent. All these are guidelines, precautions you do, planning stages, validity, liability, all those, you'll see that they are being in here. So here is the graph. We see that menstruation medication intake, the level of progesterone increase, day 15 goes down, day 21. This one is going to become pregnant 2 times. Identify the independent variable. Name the endocrine gland responsible. Name the endocrine gland responsible for FSH production. That is the pituitary gland or hypophysis. They're saying identify the independent variable in this investigation. Okay, fertility will depend on the chromophene which is being produced. So the independent variable could be the uh, treatment with chromophene. Yes. Treatment. Yes. Treatment with the intake. What are you intaking? What are you putting in the chromophene? All right. According to the graph, which day was the female most fertile? Which day, according to the graph, we shall see that this is the day when I win. Yeah, around day 11, day 10 and 11 there. Between the 10 and 11. Explain why the researcher used estrogen level in the blood to monitor the FSH availability in blood. Yeah, remember that FSH causes development of the graphene follicle, which is a mature graphene follicle. So when the graphene follicle develops, it's gonna produce estrogen. Automatically, if I have high level of estrogen, definitely I have a mature graphene follicle. Therefore, increase in the level of estrogen will indicate that there is a graphene follicle which is what, which is mature. So um, you can't have a high level of estrogen when the graphene follicle is not there, because it's the graphene follicle to produce the estrogen. That's why if they measure the estrogen, definitely the levels will indicate how big is the graphene follicle. Yes, because as it grows up, it produces more estrogen. Apart from the information studied in the research, in the research parameters, list 2 additional planning steps the researcher would have needed to consider. Apart from this, ne, um, you in this case, what are they looking for? Apart from the information state addition planning. So whenever you say planning, you have to use the word decide. Yes. So the researcher was supposed to decide how the data is going to be recorded, because here we don't know how did they record the data. Eh? It was not indicated. So researcher should have decided on how data should be recorded. The researcher would have decided which research tools or instruments to collect the data. You understand? Yes, because here we don't know how did they collect this data. So we just see it. Even if it's measuring or estrogen, how did they measure it? We don't know it. So yeah. Uh-huh. How does repeating the investigation with the 25 more women make the result? They are changing the way they are setting now questions, ne? Yes. How? Remember we say repeat the investigation 20 times. Now, how does the repeating the investigation 25 times more women make the results more reliable? So when you repeat the investigation, you check the trend. How are they moving? So you reduce the risk of random errors. You improve the accuracy of the results because you are repeating. If you keep on repeating, you perfect it. You understand? Yes. So the more you perfect it, the more, which we call experience. So you minimize the errors you're gonna be doing. You understand? So when you repeat, so it helps you to eliminate all those things. And then now your results are going to be much more reliable. I like this question, guys. Oh my God. Question 3.2.7. Fertility doctors believe that two evolution ovulation events occurred. Define ovulation. Is this one is the release of mature ovum from the ovary or from the mature Graafian follicle. Release of a mature ovum. Yes, from the mature Graafian follicle or from the ovary. Then they're saying, discuss why two ovulation events may have occurred. This this paper was not this question number 3. For it's easy, but for people who are struggling with the life science, I think it was a tug of war. This question, eh? Yeah, too much application here. This is, we call them high order questions. Okay, now let's find out. Let me repeat the question. Discuss why two ovulation events may have occurred. How do I see this? Why do we have two peaks? This could be the first. And also this, so if I had first ovulation here, have the second ovulation here, and both of them are fertilized, this could explain the difference in the twins, whereby one it looks to be much more grown up, and then another it looks to be much more smaller. Apart from the nutrient distribution during development. So, okay, if the fertilization took place here and also took place here again, before the vagina was closed, yeah, the plug was put because so that there's no second fertilization taking place. Okay, I just like the question from the scientific point of it, but our children, I don't know. We just need to do more research about it. Okay, discuss why two ovulation events may, okay. So I can say that ovulation levels, they picked up. You see that you have two peaks. Yes, we have two peaks. This is what I'm talking about. Two peaks are being shown on the graph, which shows that estrogen, remember this is the estrogen graph. And then I can also say that um, two peaks, but let me just specify that it took place, the first peak on day 10 or 11, one of the two. And then the second one is on day 20. I see it's day 21. Yeah, day 21 there. So that shows that maybe the Graafian follicle had developed very well. Do you understand? So I could say that. I can also say that you can also say that discuss why two, or we are discussing. So since there are two peaks on day 10 and day 21, we can say that ovulation, since estrogen usually increase on its peak a day before ovulation takes place. So since we have two within the 27 day cycle, then it means that there were two Graafian follicles which developed. That's why now the estrogen is high in both cases. You understand? Yes. So it was supposed to be linked to that. Plants regulate their hormone and survival through hormone like abscisic acid. Gibberellins and gibberellins, it helps plants to respond to stress and enter dormancy, while GA promotes growth. Okay. Name one stress response in plants that will result in high abscisic acid level, introducing the plant to dormancy. So, what can I say here? They're saying that they just want one stress response. So here it could be availability of water, it could be the parasites, it could be the coldness, it could be the level of light, it could be transpiration. All this, that's why you see that during winter, you see that some plants shed their leaves, seeds go to, there is no new plants growing because they have detected the coldness, that the coldness is coming. So they do that, they prepare that. It's because of the high level of abscisic acid which limit the growth of these plants. Explain the significance of this during winter. It inhibits plant growth in unfavorable conditions. Those are not favorable conditions for growing plants. You understand? All for the plants. So preventing um, these plants from losing a lot of energy, spending a lot of energy in unfavorable conditions for photosynthesis. You understand? Yes. So it means that if the photosynthesis, there is not enough water, so they can't cut out the whole process of photosynthesis cannot take place. So they have to minimize, they use what they stored. Yes. So it's very important for them. Then number to describe one reason why your answer is, describe one reason for your answer. Which answer now? During which season of the year we are? Okay. I think I skipped this. During which season of the year will gibberellin be highest? We shall see that it is very high in winter and summer. Remember when I was teaching this, I said that gibberellins works better in summer, while abscisic acid works better in winter. So you see that it's bringing about the same story. Describe one reason for that. Because there is enough UV light, there is enough rain, there is enough, so that there is, if there is enough light, then it means that they can carry out photosynthesis better compared when there is no light. The temperature is a little bit high to allow these plants to carry out their processes, the enzymes. So now if the temperatures are low, then it also becomes a problem. But in summer and the spring, we see that, yeah, the temperatures are a little bit better, so they are able to survive better. Okay, question 3.4. They're saying that researcher investigated how seedlings respond to light by cutting different parts of the plant. Seedling A had trifoil covering. I saw this question. Where did I see it? Huh? Oh, it was in objective. Esh, I was saying that they bring it 2 times. Oh, yeah, it was in the objective. Okay. They're saying that seedling foil covered is apical. Okay, you see here is the apical meristem has been covered. B is opaque, meaning that you can't have anything. Had on opaque, semi-transparent, covering its apical. Oh, same. Then they would have said translucent, not opaque, because opaque means you can't allow light. Okay. C had tin foil covering on its lower, it's here. So if it's in lower, then it's not affecting anything. Okay, they're saying that describe the reasons for differences in the growth of seed A, C, and okay. Here it grew straight up because the light was not being detected. Therefore, there was equal distribution of what? Of light. So it had to continue growing straight up. They said in A and C. While in C, the tip was not covered. You understand? So it was able to detect this light. And then it had to bend it towards the source of light. So there was an even distribution of the auxins, and then they had to grow towards the source of light. Here, there was equal distribution of auxins. Therefore, what happens is that the auxins light could not be detected, making the shoot to grow straight up. While this one, there was unequal distribution of oxygens because the tip was not covered and light was being detected and then it had to bend. You know that concept that now the oxygens will move to the dark side will grow faster than the light side, then resulting in the shoot to bend the source of light. So this one was not affecting the shoot anyway. Then 3.5, 3.5, what are they saying? It's an extract. Okay, I have to read the extract. Diabetes and Alzheimer's disease are connected because insulin resistance affects the brain function. When the insulin does not work properly, the brain cells struggle communicate, leading to the memory loss. That's why Alzheimer's is sometimes called type 3 diabetes. Hey. High blood sugar cause inflammation, damage brain cells, and increase the harmful proteins called uh, myeloid plague. And then two tangles, uh, okay, which interfere with the brain function. Diabetes also damage the blood vessels, reducing oxygen and the nutrient supply to the brain. Additionally, excess sugar lead to production of advanced glyco. Glyc when we drink a lot of sugars. Hmm. Hey, end product, which makes the plaque and the tangles worse. It also increases the harmful molecules that, and then they're saying damaging the energy production in the brains. We must go away from from what? From all of these sugary products. Anyway, that's life. According to the extract, define type 3 diabetes. Remember, we said that if you look at type 3 diabetes, say that it's when insulin does not work properly. Yes, we talked about it here. When insulin does not work properly, yes, insulin does not work properly, and then if insulin does not work properly, then the brain cells struggle to communicate, leading to the memory loss. That's what it is here. In this one is just easy. It's easy. An extract, you always get answers from the extract. Name the Alzheimer protein that build up in the brain, disrupting its function. So we say that is myeloid plague, ne? Yes, we talked about myeloid plague. It's here, so we are able to see it. That it prevents, and also this one. Let me just highlight so that you're able to see it properly. You see, these are the two. Then they are saying that under normal conditions, state the function of insulin in health individual when the blood glucose level rises. So under normal conditions, insulin stimulates the conversion of um, glucose into glycogen. Guys, we don't say insulin converts. Insulin stimulates the conversion of glucose to glycogen. Yes, where in the liver and the muscles. Okay, what does the cause glucose level? What would cause glucose level to remain high? Uh, you see. Yes. You see, if you read here. So it is it what would glucose level? What would glucose what would glucose levels to remain high? What would cause glucose levels? What would it will remain high because of the insulin resistance? Yes. So if it can't do the conversion, then automatically. So the body is unable to convert glucose to glycogen. If the insulin cannot stimulate the body to convert glucose to glycogen, then automatically it's going to lead to that. The level of glucose to remain high. And these people are going to be suffering from diabetes. And you end up urinating urine with the glucose. Describe one non-thyroid endocrine hormone that facilitates the glucose metabolism. Uh, Here the answer is simple. That is adrenaline. We always ask you if you go to the distinction material book, we also explained about that. We put some questions there. Then we say adrenaline, and then it is a non-thyroid endocrine hormone, which is not linked to the thyroid gland. Yes, so it could cause the increase in the cellular respiration, and then cellular respiration, remember, it requires the use of this glucose. Therefore, it leads to the decrease in the level of glucose. So, guys, that is it. That was the paper. I think question 3 was not that easy. Question 3 was not that easy. You guys, you need to practice more with the question 3. Question 2 and the question 1 were easy. So it means that I expect people to get at least not less than, even if you are struggling, not less than 80 out of 150. That's when you are struggling. Then when you are not struggling, then at least 125, 130, and those people will get a total. Yes, it's also possible. Yeah, but for my babies, whereby they see that there is some bit of struggling and stuff, yeah, this paper was